All right. It looks like we are live. Welcome back to yet another BriHive live stream. Happy Thursday, everyone. I hope that everyone is having a wonderful Thursday, almost the weekend as always. Ever since I only started streaming one day a week, I'm always surprised how fast we get back to Thursday. But at the same time, I feel like it's going to be a really long time until we get back to Thursday. Anyways, guys, we have an update on a case that we covered pretty extensively. And then we have a new case that we're starting off on. It's a pretty new case, but other people have covered it already because it started in June. But we're just going to get into it and get into all the messiness that's going on with that. If you looked at the thumbnail, then you know that we are going to be talking about Laura Owens getting her motion denied for a new trial. And we're going to be diving into the complaint for the Baby Reindeer series on Netflix. She's cluing. She's suing for defamation, right to publicity, all kinds of stuff for Netflix putting out this Baby Reindeer series. I was very surprised that she didn't actually name the defendant as a defendant in the case, or not the defendant, the writer who is the one telling the story as the defendant in the case. But nonetheless, she didn't. We're going to get into it. Let me know in the chat if you guys have heard about this case. If you have not heard about this case, let us know. If you are just watching live, let us know that you are here live. If you have not hit the like button, please do. It does help us out in the algorithm. And let's see where we're at already, because we got a couple people joining in. We're at 8 likes with 8 people watching live. So we are doing really good. But if you haven't hit the like button, make sure you go ahead and do so. We are going to set the like goal for this stream. Let's go ahead and set it at 50, see if we can reach the like goal for the live stream. Did we reach it last time? I can't remember. I don't remember playing the sound, but also it's been a week. Let me know how y'all's week is going. I had a trial scheduled for yesterday, so I've been like in trial mode, just like I had one last week. Last week's trial got continued, sadly, but we're going to get some money for my client. And then yesterday's case got continued. So guess what? I get to deal with those same cases for more months, but at least they're all prepped and ready to go. So that has been my week. Let me know how y'all's week is going. I'm going to jump into the chat, but there's not that many chats. So we're really going to get started with the live stream pretty quickly here. So let's have Bossy B, because we missed her, bring us in. Oh, I forgot mine. Geez, do I know how to stream anymore? Maybe not. Okay, anyways, we got Wing saying, hey, folks, hello and welcome into the live stream. Only person commenting at the moment, so we definitely appreciate the interaction. Again, y'all, if you are just coming in, let us know if you have heard about the Baby Reindeer case. If so, what are your thoughts? And I know a lot of you, if you're OGs and you've been following the channel, you have heard about Clayton Echard and Laura Owens case. So go ahead and let me know what you think about the ruling, Laura's ruling getting denied. Okay, or not her ruling, her request for a new judge getting denied. And there's also some other things going on with Greengrass and bar complaints against him. I haven't had time to review all of that, but again, shout out to Kimmy for grabbing all of those documents for me, so that I can review them and hopefully do a short video. I am still going to be in trial mode until the end of the month. So hopefully I can get the pre-recorded videos back started here soon. But with all the trials I have going on, I cannot tell y'all when that's going to happen again. We got Destined to be a member and moderator of the channel. Welcome back, saying, hey, Winks, Bree, and BriHive, dropping the Queen Bee emoji. Welcome in. Nice to see you back tonight. Nice to have you live tonight, Tiny D. I hope you finished that order last week and everything's going wonderful for you. So we are going to go ahead and jump right into the cases, I guess, because, I don't even see Kimmy here right now, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We do want Kimmy here, but we're going to jump right into the cases anyway. So we'll have Bossy B bring us in. And just as I was saying that Kimmy wasn't here, she pops into the chat. We got Wing saying, yes, Fist saw we all could see. Wonderful ruling. Yes, for the judge. We're going to get into it. Kimmy Locker, welcome in. Member, moderator, consultant, paralegal of the channel saying, hello, everyone. Bree, I'm coming, but my keyboard freaked out. I may have spilled water on it, so I can't log in. Oh, dang, I'm sorry. Hopefully that gets fixed soon. And the Wink saying hi to Tanya D, also known as Destiny B. Okay, y'all, I just redid chats. So let me go ahead and jump into the lawsuit. We're going to start with Laura Owen. So if you guys remember this case, if you don't remember the case, I am going to give you a summary anyways. And here it goes. Laura Owens sued Clayton, Laura Owen sued Clayton Echard, claiming that he was the baby daddy. He's her baby daddy while she was pregnant. And she wanted the court to basically force Clayton to participate in her pregnancy, get a parenting plan with her, and just overall be a co-parent, and also determine that he is the father. She claimed that they had adult interactions that resulted in a pregnancy of twins, but never actually went to the doctors to confirm a pregnancy. Never actually got an ultrasound. The ultrasound that she claimed she did have, she also admitted to altering. So we really don't believe that was her actual ultrasound. It was probably someone else's ultrasound. And she also admitted to not actually getting ultrasounds. Anyways, the ruling came out in June that the court found that Clayton was not the father. Although she claimed to have had a miscarriage of the babies, they never were born. The DNA test came back that there was no fetal DNA. They weren't able to confirm whether there was DNA match between Clayton and Echard, but they did find that she wasn't pregnant. And then she admitted to not being pregnant, like halfway through the case. It still went to trial because Clayton needed to prove that he was not the father, so that he could probably sue her for other things like defamation, basically calling him a deadbeat daddy to babies that weren't even born. You can't force someone to be involved in your pregnancy, just in case people don't know that. You can't force someone to be involved in your pregnancy, and you can't force someone to have you be involved in their pregnancy. So I don't know where she thought this was going, but it didn't go. It didn't go her way, okay? Goes to trial. The court determines that he's not the father. Laura Owens and her attorney is butthurt. They're very angry, and they're writing all these blog posts. They're saying they're going to get a new judge. They're saying that Judge Mata, which was the judge in the case, her dad knew the verdict before the judge actually made the verdict. All of the things. The judge did have some factual errors in the ruling. I agreed with Greengrass on that. Gingras, I think that's how you say it, Gingras. Do we want to say his name right? No, we don't. But anyways, so I did agree that the judge did have some factual errors in her ruling, but the factual errors, in my opinion, were not such that it would deem the ruling inaccurate. It's probably not the word I was looking for, but it was the word that came to me. Anyways, her attorney goes on vacation, and while he's on vacation, he's writing blogs and talking about how disappointed he is with the judge, and the judge didn't know what she was doing. And then he emails the court. And he says, well, I heard to the court, I heard your dad was at the trial and you had been discussing the case with your dad. So you're biased. Please tell me this is not true. The judge told him, file a motion. File a motion, sir. And so he did file a motion asking for a new judge and went to the supervising judge in the county. And the judge has brought her ruling back. I know that was a long-winded way to get to what we're actually getting into, but I wanted to remind you guys of the basic facts of what's going on here. Paternity action. The mama was lying. The mama's attorney is upset. The mama attorney is accusing we're calling her a mom, but there was really no babies that we can prove. Attorney is angry with the judge. Attorney asked to get a new judge, and the attorney is also appealing the verdict that the court found that Clayton is not the baby daddy. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the court's ruling. Again, shout out to Kimmy for grabbing the docs for me, and we are going to the documents. Okay, so this is the minute entry from the court with Laura Owens versus Clayton Echard. And we got our favorite David Greengrass as the attorney and Greg Woodnick, our actual favorite, with Deandra and all the others. And then it's a minute entry. This court has considered petitioner Laura Owens' notice of change of judge for cause, memorandum, and affidavit of support and the separate affidavit of David Greengrass, in support of petitioner's notice of change of judge for a cause hereinafter affidavit filed on July 8th, 2024, and respondent Clayton Echard's response to notice of change of judge pursuant to Rule 6.1. Arizona rules, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it is the motion, the ruling on the motion to change the judge. Now, what I will say before I jump all the way into this is that I was wrong about 6.1, and I'm on the internet yelling about it. I honestly did not see that part of the rule that the judge is going to rely on in saying that this motion was timely. But whatever, the judge that practices in that county, in that state, says that's what the rule says. I personally didn't see it, but maybe I was just too angry to notice it. So correct me for being wrong on the 6.1, saying that apparently he could bring it after he learned of new evidence during the trial, but I still don't agree with it. I still don't agree with it. At least we still get the judgment that we wanted, but I don't agree that that's what the rule said. But also, I haven't gone back and looked at the rule. I really don't remember reading in the rule that they have 20 days after finding out something new that the judge did. And maybe it's not under 6.1. Maybe it's under a different statute that I was asking him to cite that he never cited. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump back into it. We got petitioner's Rule .16 motion seeks to disqualify for cause the assigned family court judge, Judge Julie Mata, on the basis of bias and prejudice within the meaning of this statute. See Rule 6.1, motion at 2. Specifically, petitioner alleges that Judge Mata purportedly did the following. 1, performed an independent investigation into the facts of the case, and in doing so, considered and relied upon information posted on the internet about the case, and 2, engaged in ex parte communications regarding the case with her father, Harry L. Lau, who appeared at the trial as a spectator. Now, I do like that the court actually addresses those two issues and explains why the court is not granting the motion, because Gringas wanted us to come to this outrageous conclusion that somehow Judge Mata went and read his blog and the comments there too. Judge Mata has time to read your blog, Gringas? I don't think so. And the comments? I don't think so. But the judge ruling on the motion did a very good job at debunking that. And in addition to that, about the dad saying something, you want the court to lie on hearsay as reliable information from people who you said were not reliable, in the least in your own affidavit. So I applaud Judge Fisk for coming to the ruling, and we're going to get into her reasoning for everything. There's going to be some jumping around, not a lot of jumping around. I'm really going to skip into what the argument is. But anyways, let's get back into it. As a threshold matter, the court apologizes to the party. Basically, there was some technical difficulties in opening Greengrass. Come on, why do I have to say it 3 times in 3 different ways? Greengrass opening his CD that had the video, the YouTube video that he created a compilation of. So he altered evidence, but who am I to judge him for such a thing? In order to put all of the commentary together, they couldn't open it, and they had to have like some technical people help them, and then they finally got it open. They go ahead and say that the 6.1 motion is timely as to those two things, because they filed it 20 days after discovering the grounds existing to change the judge. I think it was a little bit after. No, I guess it was right around 20 days. And then the court did give Greengrass some, what do you call it? Like a courtesy. That's not the word I was looking for, but gave him a courtesy because he did disclose to the court that he was going to be on vacation. So I think he probably filed it at the 9th hour, and the court said that this motion can go forward on those particular issues, whether they can overturn her based on her ruling, but not whether they could have overturned her. There was like a misconduct that they claimed that was an issue. I forgot what it was, though. Sorry, I'm trying to remember read and remember what the other issues were. Okay, so let me just read the last two because that'll probably tell us. Based on the foregoing, the court finds that the Rule 6.1 motion filed on July 8th of 2024 was timely filed. In making this finding, the court acknowledges that within 20 days of 6/17/2024 is a Sunday, July 7th, given the circumstance of the case, including the fact that petitioner's counsel was on a previously disclosed vacation from June 10th to June 28th, the court finds that the filing of the motion on the next business day, Monday, was timely rather than the Sunday. The affidavit also details various facts and rulings that petitioner's counsel alleges constitute a summary of pretrial judicial bias and a summary of judicial misconduct and bias at trial. That's why I couldn't remember what it was, because it was just kind of a general statement of, they also said she made all of these adverse rulings throughout, I remember now, made all of these adverse rulings throughout the proceedings, but the court basically determines that, well, Greengrass, you knew about that more than 20 days ago because those hearings happened more than 20 days ago. So we're not going to rule on that. We're just going to rule on whether she did misconduct during the trial. So let's go ahead and jump. I feel like I keep saying, let's go ahead and jump into it. Is that my new thing for the day? Let's jump into it. No, let's not jump into it, Brie. Just read the goddamn paper. Okay, so the request for hearing. Petitioner has requested that this court hold a hearing and order subpoenas at testificatum of Judge Mata and Harry Howe, a presiding judge reviewing a Rule 6.1 motion for a change of judge as a matter of right, has discretion of whether they're going to hold an evidentiary hearing. The court basically declines to hold an evidentiary hearing. She's going to base her ruling off of what the parties have filed. Let's get into this because this is where it gets juicy. Maybe it's not juicy, but this is where she kind of breaks down. Okay, Greengrass, you're saying this. This is what actually happened, and this was why I'm denying your motion. So she starts off with analysis of cause for a change of judge. A party seeking to change the judge for a cause must establish grounds by affidavit under Rule 6.1a. On the grounds which may be alleged to change judge is that the party filing the affidavit has cause to believe and does believe that on account of the bias, prejudice, or interest of the judge, he cannot obtain a fair and impartial trial. The sufficiency of any cause to believe must be determined by an objective standard, not by reference of the affiant subjective belief, like how he believed that Judge Mata had time to read his blog. Okay, let's jump into it. The allegation regarding the independent investigation by Judge Mata. Petitioner correctly points out that Judge Mata's July 17 ruling contains a factual error. The transcript from the June 10 hearing shows that Dr. Samantha Deans did not testify that Planned Parenthood is not open on Sundays. Judicial rulings alone almost never constitute a valid bias for a bias or partiality motion. This factual error can be corrected through a post-trial motion or appellate proceeding. It does not standing alone indicate bias. So essentially, yes, she got the fact wrong. The court's going to get into it. That fact alone was not the only supporting factor in Judge Mata coming to the conclusion that Clayton is not the baby daddy. It has a lot of things to do with it, and the court's going to explain that. And so basically she's saying, if you thought that she put an incorrect fact in there, file a motion saying she put an incorrect fact in there, not set aside the judge, not set aside the judgment, not appeal, whatever it is. Just say, remove that fact. That's incorrect. That's fine. You can file a motion for that. So they go on to say, to demonstrate bias, petitioner asked this court to infer that Judge Mata's erroneous finding constitutes irrefutable evidence that she performed a secret, undisclosed investigation into facts of this matter and copied that finding from posts on social media, because the judge has time to read Greengrass's blog, apparently, and the comments, okay? In support of this position, the affidavit includes snips of a 6/10/2024 comment on petitioner counsel's website. Planned Parenthood isn't even open on Sundays in LA. And comment posted by an anonymous Twitter user on June 10th, 2024. It was a Sunday and all LA Planned Parenthood locations are closed on Sunday. So not only is she on Greengrass's blog post, she's also on Twitter, reading what we all have to say. The court finds petitioner relies on mere speculation and suspicion when alleging that Judge Mata engaged in a secret undisclosed investigation. Exactly what we said when this motion came out. You're assuming that she had time to look at your blog, sir. You're assuming that she had time to be on Twitter. And therefore, she's biased, right? The record evidence reflects conflicting testimony about the day, date, and location that petitioner obtained an ultrasound admitted as Exhibit B28, which petitioner admitted to altering. Petitioner testified that when she was in California on a weekend, so she testified she was there on a weekend, she had an ultrasound done under a fake name at a Planned Parenthood. Before trial, petitioner had provided a declaration stated that the ultrasound occurred on July 2nd, 2023 at trial. She changed her testimony to say it was an unspecified weekend in late June of 2023. Now they calling your client out for changing her story? Like, come on, dude. Petitioner further testified that she had altered the ultrasound to reflect the incorrect date on July 7th, 2023, and the incorrect provider, SMIL, instead of Planned Parenthood. Dr. Deans testified that she had reviewed the altered ultrasound and available medical records to prepare a report. Dr. Deans expressed concern about the legitimacy of petitioner's medical records. Dr. Deans confirmed that Planned Parenthood national guidelines require identification at the time of a visit to confirm the identity. That was a typo. To confirm the identity of a patient, the patient can't be seen anonymously. Dr. Dean's testimony did not address which days of the week the Planned Parenthood offices were open. Based on the foregoing, the court finds that when determined by an objective standard, not by reference to the affiant's subjective belief, petitioner has failed to show by a preponderance of evidence that Judge Mata's finding that Planned Parenthood is not open on Sunday reflects bias or prejudice against petitioner. Moreover, although not dispositive of the issue, the court further finds that this singular factual finding is of little to no importance given the rest of the findings in the July 17th ruling. In other words, we can remove that Planned Parenthood is not even open on weekends, on Sundays, but we're still going to find that he's not the father. Like, you did not prove that he was the father. You also didn't prove that you actually had a miscarriage. Like, the facts are really facting against Laura, and she thinks somehow she's going to overcome it by basically saying that the judge sucks. I don't think that's a great defense. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that defense. It sounds like a horrible, horrible defense. Okay. Allegations of the improper ex parte communication with Harry Howe. Remember, Greengrass is accusing Judge Mata of telling her daddy all of the facts and that she told him how she was going to rule before she actually ruled. Again, all assumptions, all speculations based on what people are saying outside of the court. Okay, so petitioner alleges that Judge Mata's father, Harry L. Howe, was present in the overflow room during the trial and spoke with several of respondents' supporters during and after the trial. Petitioner's counsel admits that the mere fact that Judge Mata's father attended the trial, if true, is not the primary concern. For purposes of deciding the Rule 6.1 motion, this court accepts these allegations as true and finds that if they occurred, was not improper for Ms. Mata's, and finds that if they occurred, was not improper for Judge Mata's father to attend a public trial as a spectator and speak to other courtrooms observers. He can talk mess too. For all we know, he got a YouTube channel talking about the mess too. You know, there's nothing stopping her dad from going to the trial. Okay. It says a petitioner asked this court to infer that various statements made by courtroom observers about Mr. Howe confirmed that Judge Mata was biased or prejudiced against petitioner. Petitioner's counsel acknowledges that his personal view, based on the past several months, is that Clayton's followers are generally not honest or reliable. So, Greengrass himself says that Clayton's followers are not honest and reliable. But the judge says, but also wants the judge to believe that they're reliable in saying that Judge Mata's dad said something, right? Are we trying to get clicks? Are we trying to get views like you allege? Or are they telling the truth? Pick a struggle, guy. You have to pick a struggle. So let's see, where were we at? Nevertheless, petitioner's counsel asked the court to find that an edited compilation of these individual comments about Judge Mata's father are clear extrajudicial evidence showing that Judge Mata had a hostile feeling or spirit or of ill will or undue friendship or favoritism towards one of the litigants. So she's BFFs with Clayton is what he wants us to believe. Applying an objective standard, not by reference to the affiant's subjective belief, the court carefully reviewed the compilation CD and considered in context each of the comments identified in petitioner counsel's affidavit. Given the seriousness of the allegations, the court has made its best effort to provide both the context and verbatim language of the various statements though admittedly the audio of the compilation CD is very difficult to understand at times. So the court first looks at the testimony of the first person that they says, Hava Darby, what she had to say. She says, I ran into Judge Mata's dad in the parking lot afterwards, and I asked him, like, well, what did you think? My other question is, how did they know that was her dad? Did he say, I'm Judge Mata's dad? Like, or did people just know what he looked like because he worked there before? I don't know. He was like, I gotta show you something. Female voice, what? So he whips out these papers in his hand and did anybody, I haven't been online really today, but did anybody, I saw kind of briefly that it was denied. This request for finding of fact and conclusion of law proposed findings, ? Male voice, that wasn't denied. That was not denied. ? Okay, so anyways, did anyone get a copy of this? He was saying, Julie told me this is just, dad, you got to read this and print it out a copy. And then they can't tell what else they're saying. For purposes of deciding the motion, the court accepts that the scenario recounted by Ms. Darby might have occurred, though Ms. Darby appears not to be clear as to exactly what she's talking about. She's saying he pulled out a document that was a finding of fact and conclusions of law proposed findings. So essentially, what a judge can do before you actually go to trial, based on the evidence, or even after you go to trial, based on the evidence, they can let you know, okay, this is what I'm likely to rule if this goes forward. Sounds like one of these documents existed in the case, and maybe the dad had it and was like, look at this proposed finding. I think I know how my daughter's going to rule. That is what the allegation is. Not that she said, I'm going to rule like this, but that there was a proposed findings of fact and conclusions that was already out there that anyone can get access to. So let's keep going on, which is outrageous because in California, the paternity actions are private. You can't just go and pull all their documents. If you married, your business are for the streets. But if you just humping and got a baby daddy and you're not married, your action is private, which is insane to me. You would think that married affairs will be a little bit more private, like married people's custody issues will be a little bit more private than people that didn't get married but were having children. I don't know. I think they should all maybe be on the same level. But anyways, let's go on. Let's see. She doesn't seem clear about what she's talking about. The court finds that the fact that a trial judge might have told a family member that she was presiding over a case and might have provided a copy of a publicly available filing, the request for finding of fact and conclusions of law and proposed findings filed June 3rd, 2024. So this was filed before the trial actually went forward versus what Gringas is trying to allege is that she basically told him how she was going to rule after the trial versus a document that's already filed. Neither proves by a preponderance of evidence that the judge was biased or prejudiced, nor proves that she told her family member how she intended to rule before the case was tried. It was a publicly available document. We all knew potentially what facts she had already found. Okay, and then we go into statements of Dave Neal, an individual speaking with him. So here we are. Dave Neal gets another spotlight in this case, right? So it goes, man in red shirt. Judge Mata's dad was in the court with us. Dave Neal says, Judge Mata's dad, no way. Male in red shirt says, it's in the court in the side room where we were. Judge Mata's dad was sitting there. Dave Neal, she did fantastic. Woman in hat. I said, Harry, that's really nice. You want to be here to support your daughter. He said, oh, no, I've been hearing about this. I'm here for the circus. Group laughs as woman in hat walks off. Dave Neal says, hold on. We don't need a mistrial. Additional group laughter. Red Shirt says, we could get him some scones. Dave Neal says, yes, scones. 10 seconds of the video was deleted per the timestamps. Woman on the left, I was inaudible. I was waiting to get in. Dave Neal says, we just heard. Woman on the left says, you don't look like the inaudible demographic. You don't look like the blank demographic. How did you hear about this case? He said, my daughter. Dave Neal says, there you go. Hey, that's a woman on the left. And he was reading case files. It goes inaudible. Dave Neal says, I'm sure he was. I mean, he was probably a judge. I feel like it runs in the family. Woman on the right says, he did not tell me any information about her thoughts. Female voice says, yes, Judge Mata's dad, and I was sitting right next to him. Dave Neal says, oh, I'm sure, yeah. So again, this is kind of like jumbled up conversation that people are having, and Green Gas wants us to assume that they're saying Judge Mata said these things versus like their thoughts being intertwined with, a commentary channel, a podcast, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, they go on to say, again, for purposes of deciding the motion, the court accepts that certain facts recounted by these courtrooms observers might have occurred. Mr. Howe might have informed an observer before the hearing that he heard about the case from Judge Mata. Mr. Howe might have told an observer he considered the hearing an additional going on to be a circus. And Mr. Howe might have been reviewing paperwork related to the case. When viewed by an objective standard, Mr. Howe's alleged statement and actions do not prove by preponderance of evidence that Judge Mata was biased or prejudiced, or that she told her family members how she intended to rule before the case was tried. And that's one thing I think that Gringas should understand, is that you can talk about cases, right? She could have said, oh my gosh, Dad, you would not believe this. There's this crazy case where this woman is accusing this man of being the father, but then it turns out she's not pregnant. You got to look it up. She can do that. This is a public case. It's all over the internet. They can pull the documents. You can watch YouTube videos. There's a plenty of people making content about it. She could have said, man, the case is crazy. You go look it up, Dad. There's nothing stopping her from telling the dad, or maybe the dad said, oh, I heard there's this crazy case and this is what's happening. She's like, oh yeah, I'm the judge on that. There's nothing wrong with doing that, essentially, is what the court is saying. The court also finds that certain statements made by the courtroom observers reflected nothing more than mere conjecture. Like Mr. Neal's statement that Mr. Howe was probably a judge, I feel like it runs in the family. The court further finds that the video reflects that Mr. Neal's remark, we don't need a mistrial after the speaker started walking away, was made in jest, as evidenced by his and onlookers' laughter and this agreement with another bystander that they should get him a scone. The court concurs with petitioner's counsel's subjective belief that respondent supporters gleefully celebrated Judge Mata's father's attendance at the hearing. So they agree with you on something, that people were happy to see her dad. Let's see. And that supporters' actions and perhaps even Mr. Howe's alleged actions can be perceived to have made a mockery of these proceedings. This court declines, however, to impute bias or prejudice to Judge Mata based on statements made by respondent supporters, whom petitioner's counsel characterizes as generally not honest or reliable about Judge Mata's father, or even statements made by Judge Mata's father himself. It is ordered denying petitioner's motion for change of judge. It's further ordered denying respondent's request for leave to file a supplemental affidavit for attorney's fees and costs. Is further ordered denying respondents' request for this court to enter further orders pursuant Rule 8.1A of the Arizona Rules of Professional Conduct. Is further ordered returning this matter to Judge Mata to rule on all pending post-trial motions. All party representing themselves must keep the court updated. Oh, that we don't need to read that. Okay, so that's where we are with the ruling. The court explains away all of the rulings that they made, or explains all of the rulings that were made. So there's really nothing to basically accuse the court of doing anything wrong of. But I did hear that Gringas still has the intention filing an appeal regarding this order, basically also calling Judge Fisk biased as well. So we look forward to seeing how his appellate work goes. I know he was hating on Woodnick, talking about he's never done an appeal, so I'm about to whoop his butt. Little does he know, Woodnick is probably not going to be on the case, and Clayton's probably going to have to hire another appellate attorney, and then they get to pay that appellate attorney's fees when they lose, because you're gonna lose. You want everyone to draw the same conclusions that you drew just because you're drawing them. The courts pointed out facts that could support Judge Mata's thinking of how she ended up at the decision of saying that this happened on a weekend and Planned Parenthood is not open on Sunday. She can look at a calendar. That does not constitute an independent investigation. But to assume the audacity to think that you're so popular and you're so cool that the court wanted to look at your blog, like your blog, out of all the blogs out there, the judge went to you, not to Laura's blog, okay, who's talking about her feelings and everything, but Gringa's blog. The court had time to do that. I think not. I don't think that the judge is over there surfing Twitter trying to see what people are saying about the case, because she knows that can get her in trouble. Unlike Gringa is not knowing that things can get him in trouble, and hence why he has bar complaints going against him as we speak, which we're not covering today, but I thought I should mention it. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the chat and see what y'all have to say. If you have any comments, thoughts, concerns on this order denying the motion for a new judge for Laura Owens, thank you. Now they can go up on appeal and hopefully get that denied, and then they can move on with their lives. If you have any comments about it, go ahead and drop it in the comment section or the chat section. If you haven't already, if you're on the replay, drop it in the comment section. Let's go. Oops, I cut myself off. Let's go ahead and jump into the chat and see what y'all got to say. We got Chelsea B, member of the channel, welcome in, saying Clayton isn't the baby daddy of the non-existent babies. Exactly. He is the baby dad. He's not the baby daddy of the, we don't even know if he was really pregnant, girl. We don't even know if he actually had a miscarriage, girl. You're just out here saying things. Oh, sorry. I guess I made a misstatement. Kimmy said that the bar complaint by David Neal is no longer pending. It already got dismissed, which I didn't think it was really strong for what I did have time to read anyways. But it did seem like just a little petty and not strong enough to be a bar complaining. He's not your attorney. But anyways, yeah, so Kimmy let me know that that has been dismissed. So that one is not going on. But wasn't there another one that was filed too? Beth, I hope I'm saying this right. Beth and Hermie says baby reindeer character and Laura have a lot in common. Lies, the character, right? Destined to Be says make sure you support AI Gore algorithm and algorithm. Got it. Good one. And hit the like button. Bossy B appreciates it. Yes, thank you. Of course, thank you for the reminder. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Our like goal for the stream today is going to be 50 likes, and we're already at 32. So shout out for the BriHive for hitting the like button. Also, as I always forget, we do have a Discord server that I will admit I have not signed in this week. I'm sorry about it. I've been in trial prep. But we do have a Discord for the BriHive. So if you guys want to come and chat while we're not on live, feel free to join the Discord. Kimmy, if you can post the link, because I do not have it on hand. And I still did not get the non-deletable one other than the one you sent to me on Discord. But I can't do it while streaming. So if you want to, please share the Discord link. Thank you. Okay, we got Winks and the Planned Parenthood date and the Planned Parenthood date and the father thing. Yep, that is what the judge reviewed because that was what happened at trial. Everything else they claimed had already happened at previous hearings. Island says Dave Niels took scones. Did he really? Wink says, I would hope Woodnick is in for the long haul. So some attorneys do not do appeals. So I think Woodnick is one of them that does not do appeals, his firm. So Clayton will likely have to hire a separate attorney, probably a whole different law firm to do the appeals. It's a lot different work. Trial and appeals are way different. Appeals, you're doing all writing, different deadlines, different requirements. You're in a different court. So a lot of trial attorneys don't actually also do appeals. It's just too much. Teresa S says, I tried telling an old friend what I've been up to lately and it fell flat. I give up trying to explain it. Dustin to B says, Bossy B, thanks you for hitting the like button on your way in. Yes, thank you for the reminder. Zoe B says, member of the channel, says, I think this judge has integrity. Gringas, not so much. And he's going to keep pushing it. He's going to push it. Keep pushing it. Teresa S says, there was a delightful volunteer who made all the food and scones, dipping sauce for breadsticks. She worked her butt off. That sounds delicious. Oh my gosh, that sounds good. I'm greedy. So why would you put that in my chat? Kimmy Lockett says, I believe Gringas had his license suspended in 2008 for a DUI, but I didn't see other bar complaints. I'm surprised he doesn't have any other bar complaints. Thank you, Kimmy, for going ahead and dropping the Discord link. And I believe she pinned it. Yes, she did pin it for those of you that would like to join the Discord and, start some chat because we're like shy in there. We don't have much to say, but we would love to get the conversation started. Zoe V says, Gringas is a collector of complaints from the bar, at the bar, under the bar, pretty much anywhere there's a bar, and Gringas, there's likely to be a complaint. Love it. Love it. Teresa S says he also had a bar complaint in 2022, and part is public, part under seal. I'm sure which one that, or I'm not sure which one that is, but it predates this case. I'm not surprised. I'm actually surprised he doesn't have more complaints. That's what I'm surprised about, that he doesn't have more. I think the judge got it right. I think he did not prove that Judge Mata did the things that he claimed. He wants the court to rely on hearsay for one, right? For the claiming that Judge Mata's father said something. Somebody who we don't know their names of, said that the daddy said this in the room, and no one has proof of this. It's just what Gringas is telling us that these people said and that are on the internet saying it and wanting us to draw conclusions. It's not even like they're outright saying, Judge Mata's father told me that she told me about the case, or that she told him about the case before she made the ruling. They're not even outright saying that. He wants us to jump and leap to conclusions how he does, because he likes to jump to conclusions. Maybe, no, I'm not going to say that. That's mean. He was on a cruise ship, though. So if y'all know where I was going with that, that's where I was going. That's not nice. It's all in my head now. I just see Gringas jumping into conclusions while on a, cruise ship while on the edge banister. If you get my drift, you got my drift, got my waves. Okay. That was really lame. Why did I say that? So he wants us to jump to conclusions just like he jumps to conclusions. That was all I was trying to say. I don't know where all that extra stuff came into. Stargazer Kawaii says, were there ever complaints to the judge about his blog that would have made the judge go to his blog, like a name of a victim and medical information for his client? Didn't they post like the actual report from one of the doctors online? But I think that was on Laura's blog. But I do think that either someone did do snippets of his blog in some document. They did do that, but I don't think it was that particular blog that was snipped. If anyone remembers, please go ahead and drop it in the chat. All right. I am kind of getting through our stream. Well, I'm saying fast, but we still got baby Reindeer, and we're really going to go through majority of that complaint. And Kimmy, I don't know what it is, but when I look at the documents on my iPad, I cannot see the highlight. And so I just ended up reading all the facts of the case. All the facts of the case whenever I was trying to look at the highlighted complaint to prepare for the stream. Anyways, if you guys don't know what case we're jumping into next, we are going to be talking about baby Reindeer. Okay, so let's go ahead and have Bossy B bring us in. If you haven't already hit the like button, please do. It does help us out in the algorithm. And we need more friends and more likes because the channel is lit. Okay, and we don't jump to conclusions like some attorneys. No shade, Greengrass, but shade all the way. What you calling that man Greengrass? Okay. Anyways, we are going to be talking about baby reindeer. If you don't know what we're talking about, have you been living under a rock with me? Because I have not watched the baby reindeer series. I saw it when it popped up before everyone started talking about it on like TikTok and all the other apps. Before people started talking about it, I was going to watch it. And then I just never got around to watching it. So I am part of the millions or billions of people who have not watched Baby Reindeer. If you have watched Baby Reindeer, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Sorry, I lost my train of thought because I try to read private chats at the same time as talking to y'all, and then I want to respond to the private chat. But no, Kimmy, it's my iPad. I don't know. I can see it on my computer, but on my iPad, I can't see the highlights. I don't know why. Maybe it doesn't transfer to Apple. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyways, let me go back into it. Yes. So there's a Netflix series about this baby reindeer case. I was going to watch the series and I didn't watch the series. And the next thing you know, a few months later, this lady is suing Netflix over this series. Baby Reindeer is about an older lady stalking a younger comedian man and just like wanting to get down with him, wanting to be with him. But in the story, they change your name. They tell us that it's a true story. And I'm going to get into all of my thoughts of them keep calling it a true story. They change her identity and the internet's loose. The internet people, people are always on the internet. They found this lady through a tweet from years ago. It was like, is this you? Mind you, she could have been like, no, I'm not Martha. What are you talking about? I'm not Martha. But no, she comes out and she's like, yes, I am Martha. And I didn't do these things. Lady, just say no. Just say no, it's not you. Like, why did you say it was you? Oh my gosh. So I think that's going to be the interesting part of the defamation, and maybe it could work. But to me, I'm like, no one even knows who you are. It's not like people recognized it was you just from watching the show. They went and found a tweet and you could have been like, I am not Martha. That's not me. But you didn't. Anyways, let's get into it. She ends up suing the comedian and saying that it's not a true story. You're a liar. I didn't do these things to you, and you're crazy yourself, essentially. And she was never arrested for actually stalking. That is what she's saying. I think it's going to be interesting what facts come out. There is, I think, a response already. I have not had an opportunity to review it, so we're not going to talk about that today. So let's jump into the complaint. For Baby Reindeer, we got Fiona Harvey, the real Martha. Okay, that's what she's going by now. Versus Netflix Inc., Netflix Worldwide Entertainment LLC. This is a complaint and a demand for jury trial. We are in the Central District of California, and we start off with the preliminary statement saying this is a true story. I think that Netflix was really, really non-smart, dumb, if you will, for calling it a true story. And if Martha, i.e. Fiona, is telling the truth and that some of these things didn't happen, you could have just said based on a true story. Like, what happened to just saying this is based on a true story? Like, you're getting yourself in deep trouble by just saying this is a true story. Okay? And they're going to talk about how they tried to hide the identities. They didn't. They really didn't. I'm on Fiona's side about the fact of them not hiding who she actually is. So let's do it. Okay. So, the above quote from the first episode of the Netflix series Baby Reindeer is the biggest lie in television history. It is a lie told by Netflix and the show's creator, Richard Gadd, out of greed and lust for fame. A lie designed to attract more viewers, get more attention, to make more money, and to viciously destroy the life of plaintiff Fiona Harvey, an innocent woman defamed by Netflix and Richard Gadd at a magnitude and scale without precedent. Okay, so they said they hated on my girl. Why are you hating on Martha? I mean, Fiona. Okay, this is an action by plaintiff Fiona Harvey against defendants Netflix and Netflix Worldwide Entertainment for defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligence, gross negligence, and violation of Harvey's right to publicity arising out of the brutal lies defendants told about her in the television series Baby Reindeer. The lies that defendants told about Harvey to over 50 million people worldwide include that Harvey is a twice convicted stalker who was sentenced to 5 years in prison and that Harvey S.A.'d Gadd. Defendants told these lies and never stopped because it was a better story than the truth, and better stories made more money. And Netflix, a multinational billion-dollar entertainment streaming company, did literally nothing to confirm the true story that Gadd told. That is, it never investigated whether Harvey was convicted, a serious misrepresentation of fact. It did nothing to understand the relationship between Gadd and Harvey, if any. It did nothing to determine whether the other facts, including an assault, the alleged stalking, or the conviction was accurate. It did nothing to understand whether Gadd's production, which ruined Harvey, was accurate. As a result of defendants' lies, malfeasance, and utterly reckless misconduct, Harvey's life had been ruined. Simply, Netflix and Gadd destroyed her reputation, her character, and her life. Now, what I will say about this story, in my opinion, it sounds like the Streisand effect. I feel like if you didn't file this lawsuit, a lot of people wouldn't be bothering you. I feel like if they would have contacted you on Twitter and said, is this you? And you just like turned your Twitter off or deleted the comment so that it wasn't there anymore. Like there was so many options. I just don't think it would have escalated to the point. And then she was like doing her own interviews. So in my opinion, it sounds like Streisand effect. I definitely get it. Someone's coming to you and you're trying to clear your name. But also, why you go out there and do interviews trying to prove your side of the story? And now you're filing a lawsuit trying to prove your side of the story, which gives us more insight into what is going on in the case or what went on between you two. You can say that we're wrong, but if he has even the slight amount of facts to support him, this is going to be bad for you. There might be worse things. Like when people sue, I feel like they don't realize that worse things could potentially come out that maybe we don't know about. I should have filled more water in my bottle because it's like at the bare bottom bones of the bottle. Okay, let's jump back in. Where are we at? Okay. Baby Reindeer. Baby Reindeer is a 7-episode limited television series about the true story of Richard Gadd, a failing comedian, set in the year 2015. Gadd is the writer and creator of Baby Reindeer, in addition to starring in it as Donnie. So he changed both people's name. Baby Reindeer is a worldwide phenomenon, premiered on Netflix on April 11, 2024, and has since drawn over 56 million views through May 8th, making it Netflix's most popular content this year and on track to become the most streamed show on Netflix of all time. See, the draw of the show is the representation made by the defendant that this is a true story. At the 1 minute 39 second mark of episode 1, this image appears on screen. This is a true story. I think this is where they screwed up. I don't know. Honestly, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I don't know the validity of her claims right now. Because when you're talking about a third person and like referencing to them, people are supposed to know who you're talking about. But if they have to go look up who you're talking about and ask you, hey, is this you? I think, in my opinion, that is a bit of a stretch, but there may be case law to support that you can still sue them for that. I don't know. Okay. Richard Gadd wrote and created the true story, Baby Reindeer, and stars in it himself. Gadd is a self-admitted crack This part had me weak. Gad is a self-admitted crack, meth, and heroin user. 19 minutes and 7 seconds. Interesting way to start this off. With a self-admitted history of masturbating to Harvey. So she was stalking him, but he was masturbating to her? I'm so confused. Following her home and spying on her through her window and lying to the police about his contacts with her. Wow. So she's saying he stalked, or he's saying, I haven't watched the show. This, or did she write that backwards that it should be him, that she was spying on him? Let me know, y'all, because that part confused me earlier too. No, it's him. She's saying that he's the one fantasizing about her because on this screenshot, it's a photo of her and a man looking down at her, and I assume he's doing his things to himself. Let's see. To overcome they get into Martha as the character. To overcome the uninteresting true story of Gad's inability to advance professionally in London comedy, sorry y'all. To overcome the uninteresting true story of Gad's inability to advance professionally in the London comedy circuit, defendants fabricate a true story of a woman, Martha, that Gad meets at a pub to make baby reindeer more captivating. According to defendants, the real Martha is a twice convicted criminal. She spent a total of 5 years in prison for stalking Gad and another woman. In addition, Martha stalked a policeman, aid Gad in an alley, violently attacked him in a pub, and waited outside his home every day for up to 16 hours. The real Martha is reasonably understood by all viewers to have done all of these monstrous things because Netflix and Gad stated it was true. Hang my curtains, Harvey is identified by this particular statement. And I'm going to explain why this particular piece makes me feel like they did not do all they can do in order to hide her identity. So, a recurring joke throughout Baby Reindeer is the phrase "hang my curtains," a euphemism of Gad having sex with Martha. For example, in episode 1, Gadfellow's bartender asks Gad when he and Martha are going to shag. Gad responds that he does not believe in sex before marriage, to which Martha replies that she is a marriage material and that all she needs is someone to hang her curtains. Gad narrates the hang her curtains sounded vaguely sexual, and he responds to Martha by joking, "I'll hang your curtains," to which the bar erupts in laughter. Later, Martha sends Gad 80 emails per day, including this one stating, "My curtains were waiting for you. They are ready." Spelling incorrected. "My curtains are waiting for you. They are ready." Okay. Interesting, right? So, no, I mean, I guess that's not horrible. Yeah, I guess it is. Okay. In an interview with GQ magazine, Gad claimed, "We've gone to such lengths to disguise Harvey that I doubt she would recognize herself in the show." In real life, the tweet from Fiona Harvey 2014 to Mr. Richard Gad in 2014 was publicly searchable on X when Baby Reindeer was released in April 2024 and easily found. Her tweet actually said, Mr. Richard Gad, "My curtains need hung badly." And then the one on the show said, "My curtains are waiting for you. They are ready." So they kind of changed the context of the sentence. I mean, they changed the wording, right? But also, the curtains need hanging. Like, that's an easy conclusion. And that's why I feel like they didn't really do all they could do to protect her identity, because they could have easily changed what they were talking about. They didn't have to say curtains. They could have said, "You can make my bed. I need you to make my bed. My bed's waiting to be made." Like that. I feel like that's a little bit more sensual anyways. What's hanging the curtain? I don't get it. I don't get how that that implies adult activity fun time. I don't see how that implies that. But they could have changed it from curtains. I know they changed the sentence, but they could have changed like what they were actually talking about too. I think that would have helped them a little bit more. And also, not calling it a true story would have helped them. Just saying it was based on a true story. Like, this is like screenwriting one-on-one, I feel like. Don't ever say it's true so that you can avoid getting sued for defamation. You say it's based on a true story. You drew inspiration from it, right? Okay, come on. Let's get better, Netflix. Let's get better. Okay. In real life, oh, sorry, the tweet was at Mr. Richard Gatt, my curtains need hung badly. What does that even mean? Within days after the release of Baby Reindeer on April 11, 2024, members of the public identified Fiona Harvey as Martha, which I don't know how they did that fast. Like, y'all got too much time on your hand for going to look for this lady. Total strangers began to message Harvey on Facebook and call her. The messages below are just some of the Facebook users with names beginning with the letter A. Did you stalk Richard? Are you a stalker? Are you on Netflix? Are you the stalker? Baby Reindeer? Are you Martha Scott? You're insane. Can I hang your curtains? Are you the real Martha for Baby Reindeer? Hey, Martha. Hey, Martha. Are you Martha? Hello, Reindeer. Psycho stalker. Have you been convicted of harassment and stalking on Richard Gatt? You are a crazy stalker. Hi, sorry, did you SH and stalk Richard Gatt? Called her a rapist. You're some nut job, should be locked up. You are a horrible person. I hope you suffer for the rest of your S-word life. Wow. Y'all are a little feisty. Y'all coming at Martha crazy on Facebook though, y'all. That's a bit extreme. Popular internet forums such as Reddit and TikTok had thousands of users identifying and discussing Harvey as the real Martha. The identification of Harvey as Martha was easy and took a matter of days as Harvey's identity was completely undisguised. In Baby Reindeer, Martha is a Scottish lawyer living in London, 20 years older than Gatt, and was accused of stalking a barrister in a newspaper article who communicated with him on social media. Like Martha, Harvey is a Scottish lawyer living in London, 20 years older than Gatt, was accused of stalking a lawyer in a newspaper article and who bears an uncanny resemblance to Martha. Further, Martha's accent, manner of speaking, and cadence is indistinguishable from Harvey. Isn't that insane to be like, look, I look just like her. I sound like her. You are literally trying to make her me, make me her, whatever you want to call it. But look at us together. This is us. She even wore a green jacket and a colorful shirt. Not the outfit, girl. Not you trying to dress like Martha, or is Martha trying to dress like you? Okay. After being identified, the press in London began to contact Harvey, and the hatred towards Harvey on the internet forums such as Reddit and TikTok reached extreme levels, including death threats such as this one on TikTok that was liked by 7,000 people. Fiona Harvey, count your days. Jeez. TikTok user, what's your problem? Since being identified as Martha only days after Netflix release of Baby Reindeer, since being identified as Martha only days after Netflix's release of Baby Reindeer, Harvey has been tormented. Harvey continues to suffer emotional distress, which has been manifested by objective symptomology. Harvey is physically weak. She has and continues to experience anxiety, nightmares, panic attacks, shame, depression, nervousness, stomach pains, loss of appetite and fear, extreme stress, and sickness, all directly caused by lies told by her in Baby Reindeer. Harvey is fearful of leaving her home or checking the news as a direct result of Baby Reindeer. Harvey has become extremely secluded and isolated in fear of the public, going days without leaving her home. At the same time, Netflix and Gatt have traveled the country promoting the show and accepting awards while receiving praise and applause for the series. Everything Gatt and Netflix wanted for this quote-unquote true story. Baby Reindeer is not a true story. It is a lie created by Gatt and distributed by Netflix. Gatt confesses in Baby Reindeer that he has a deep psychological need for attention, so intense that in the past he willfully prostituted himself to another man to advance his career and for a little peep of fame. That is insane. To get his peep at fame and to get people to think about him, Gad and Netflix defamed a middle-aged woman, Fiona Harvey, so completely that Harvey is even afraid to go outside. As stated in Netflix's most recent 10K file SEA, they wanted to grow the platform, essentially, is what it's saying. Defamation. Harvey has never been convicted of a crime. She says Harvey has never been convicted of any crime and has never been to prison. She went ahead and attached a certificate that she has not been in jail or any other type of things against her tickets or anything. Notwithstanding the central plot and the arc of the series, is that Gad's befriended Martha, a convicted stalker who returns to prison for stalking Gad. They have him saying basically, I had a convicted stalker stalking me. I had a convicted stalker stalking me, and it's basically being repeated throughout the episode. They then go on to say Harvey never SA'd Gad. In addition to lying about Harvey being a criminal, Baby Reindeer makes outrageous claim that Harvey SA'd Gad in the alley. In a disturbing scene at the end of episode 2, defendants allege that Harvey SA'd him in a dark alley by pushing Gad against the wall and grabbing his man part without consent. Gad claims he said, "Please stop," and Harvey responded, "Keep still," and continued to grab Gad until she made him beat. I don't know what that means. Harvey has never had a sexual encounter with Gad. The claim that Harvey SA'd Gad is a lie. So she's going through all the lies that she's believing that he's telling about her. Harvey never stalked Gad. Baby Reindeer includes the repeated lie that Harvey stalked Gad. Again, with I had a convicted stalker stalking me, basically repeating that. For approximately 2 minutes in episode 3, defendants claim that Harvey stalked Gad by sitting at a bus stop on the same street 30 yards away as Gad residents from morning to night. And then they go on to describe that when he left in the morning, she was there. And then when he came home, she was still there. Goes on to say Harvey never waited outside of Gad's residence. Defendants claim that Harvey waited outside on the same street as Gad's residence every day for up to 15 to 16 hours a day is a psychotic lie. So she's now calling him psychotic. Harvey never stalked a police officer. In episode 5, defendant claims that when Gad went to the police to report Harvey for stalking, the police detective informed Gad that Harvey was a very serious woman, so serious that she once stalked a policewoman. This is the photo. This is another lie. Harvey never stalked a police officer, and no police detective ever told Gad that Harvey stalked a policeman. Now, how do you know what the police told Gad? How do you know that this lie by defendants is irreprehensible, as it gives Gad defamatory story the authority of official police statements. Harvey never attacked Gad. In episode 6, defendants claim that Harvey violently smashed a glass bottle over Gad's head and gouged his eyes with her thumbs in a horrific physical assault that left Gad's head bloodied. This is a lie. Harvey never smashed a glass bottle over Gad's head, gouged his eyes, or ever physically attacked him in any way. Netflix defamed Harvey on the website. On May 16, 2024, Netflix published an article that said unequivocally that the series is a true story, and it is important to remember that this isn't just a story. It's true. The article is defamatory story told by Harvey is a lie, or told about Harvey is a lie. Netflix defames Harvey in the House of Commons. This goes on to say like there was a meeting with a councilman or something, and they told him that it was a true story. I'm not going to read that. Netflix failed to do any due diligence. Let's see. Netflix told lies in Baby Reindeer that Harvey is a twice convicted criminal who SA'd him. Netflix and Gad never to this day contacted Harvey directly or indirectly to confirm Gad's story. Defendants never obtained any confirmation from any governmental authority confirming that Harvey had been convicted of any crime. Defendants did not investigate Gad's claim that Harvey SA'd him and recklessly and or intentionally disregarded the truth of the defamatory statements. The Netflix algorithm, basically the show was picked up in the algorithm and shown to millions and millions of people, which is why we are here now suing them, because now everyone is trying to locate freaking, what's her name? Fiona, basically saying that she is Martha. Now, my question would be, had she deleted the tweet, Would we know that she was Martha? Had she not confirmed that she was Martha, would we know that she's Martha? Had she not went on television and gave interviews, would we have known she was Martha? I don't think so. But, everyone is, entitled to their day in court. And so she filed one. She wanted a day in court. Okay, so I'm going to briefly go over the claims. So we got defamation. She just kind of explained it. Defendants each made the statement herein. Harvey was a convicted stalker who served 4.5-year sentence in Scotland. Harvey was a convicted stalker and harasser who pled guilty and was sentenced to a 9-month sentence and a 5-year restraining order. Harvey S.A.'d Gad as depicted in episode 2. Harvey violently attacked Gad by smashing a glass over his head and gouged his eyes. Harvey stalked a policeman. A police detective told Gad that Harvey stalked a policeman. I think that one's going to get kicked out because how do you know what a police officer told him? And Harvey waited outside of Gad's residence every day up to 16 hours a day. Each of these statements has been viewed by 50 million people. This has been publicized. In addition, Netflix made the statement that Harvey was a convicted stalker in a committee meeting in the House of Commons and stated that baby Reindeer was a true in Parliament on Netflix website. Netflix viewers and members of the public reasonably understood the statements were about Harvey. That one's hard for me because they had to go find her and ask her if it was her. So I don't know. And like I said, maybe there is case law saying that if they can find you on Twitter and figure out it's you by one singular tweet, I don't know. I don't know if we can say that they understood it to be about her until she confirmed that it was about her. And what if it's not about her? What if it's another crazy Scottish lady that works in London and is a lawyer? What if there's another one that he encountered? How do we know it's Fiona? I don't know. I don't know if we can jump to that conclusion. Fiona, you want us to jump to conclusions like green grass? We don't do that over here. I don't know. I don't know if she meets that element of that the people understood it was about her. She's basically saying it's pro se because he's being accused of doing bad things like SA and stalking. So she wants damages. She wants money. Okay. Second cause of action, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Defendant's conduct was intended to inflict injury on Harvey and was engaged in a realization that injury will result to Harvey. Accordingly, Harvey has been seriously damaged mentally, emotionally. Said damages, which shall be determined at trial, are believed to exceed $50 million, exclusive of legal fees and costs and statutory interest. $50 million? How? Intentional infliction of emotional distress? I don't even think she's going to win on that because I don't think she has the intent. I don't think they have the intent. They changed her name. They tried to change the sentence. They tried to change the method of communication. They said it was through email. How do we know that Martha is not just someone that heard this story from Gad before and decided to tweet at him, I need my curtains hung badly? What if that was like a joke that he told and then Martha tweeted it at him? And then Fiona tweeted it at him. And now all of a sudden she's claiming she's Fiona. I don't know. How do we even know she's a lawyer? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to doubt her like that. But seriously, how many people have tweeted about curtains to this man? That's what I would like to know. I don't know if we can draw that conclusion. But for sure, I don't think the intent is there. I feel like if they were being intentional, they would have used her name. They would have this is Martha is, what is it? What's her name? Fiona is being played by Martha or something like that. But no, I think they attempted to hide her identity. They just did a horrible job at doing it. Like I said, they could have said, I need my bed made. I feel like that's more of an innuendo than hang my curtains. Like, what does hang my curtains mean? Like, put a dress on me? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so she wants $50 million. I don't think she gets the intentional. I think that falls off. Negligence, maybe. I think negligence, she has a chance at, okay? Defendants owed Harvey a duty of care to accurately represent her and baby Reindeer, which they bill as true to confirm the details of allegations made about her and baby Reindeer as true, including without limitation her criminal convictions as in physical assaults on Gad, and or to sufficiently ensure Harvey could not be identified based on the information in baby Reindeer. I do agree with her. I do think they did a poor job at hiding her identity if she is the one that's talking about hanging curtains. But I would like to know how many people asked him about hanging their curtains. Like, was he a handyman on the side? Did he tell her he was going to help her with her curtains and he just hasn't done it? Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to make fun of this lady's story, but seriously, I don't know if we, and of course I would love to see the case law on it, for people to reasonably understand that they're talking. Like, for instance, if someone says the first Black president has 2 daughters, right? Or no, the first Black president has 2 sons, because we're lying, right? First Black president has 2 sons that he doesn't take care of. That's, who are we talking about? We know we're talking about Obama, right? You have to reasonably be able to tell who that person is, not go looking up and say, well, this lady tweeted about curtains back in 2014, so it must be her. I mean, I don't know. And like I said, maybe there is case law, maybe there's a statute that supports if people can find you, then you defame them. Maybe, just maybe, but I don't know if she wins on defamation. I think she has the negligence claim. I don't know if she wins on defamation, because I don't know if we can draw that she was a third person. Same thing with intentional infliction of emotional distress. They tried to cover her up. They didn't do a good job. I think she's more in the wheelhouse of negligence in telling the story, right? They didn't really protect her identity as well as they could have. So I'll give her that. I will give her the negligence. Let me know what y'all think about it. Okay. Defendants breached their duty of care by lying repeatedly about Harvey and baby Reindeer. But why do they have a duty to her? I mean, I guess to tell the truth, the story accurately if they're claiming it was her. I mean, that they're not really claiming it's her. But anyways, let's go on. Including Harvey's criminal record, that she stalked the policeman and she's waited outside of his house. Defendants further breached their duty of care, insufficiently disguising Harvey as the real Martha. Defendants breached their duty of care by making Martha like Harvey, a female Scottish lawyer, 20 years younger than Gad, living in Camden, who patroned the pub where Gad worked in 2014. Defendant further breached their duty by giving Martha an uncanny resemblance to Harvey. Defendants breached their duty by ensuring that Harvey could not be identified within a matter of days after the baby Reindeer launch, based on Harvey's public social media posts. Like I said, I think she's onto something with a negligence. As a result, defendant breaches. Harvey has been damaged severely since being identified as the real Martha and baby Reindeer. Harvey has experienced, among other things, intense panic, fear, anxiety, sleeplessness, and despair. Harvey is reluctant to go outside, watch the news, and has become inhumanely isolated. It is foreseeable that depicting a vulnerable woman as an actual real-life violent convicted monster to 50 million people will cause these damages. This is a case of unprecedented mental and emotional distress. 50 million. Oh, I'm thinking she wanted $50 million again. Harvey has suffered severe emotional distress, gross negligence. They basically allege the same thing. They had a duty to figure out, and they probably were with a reckless disregard, right? Fifth cause of action, violation of the rights to publicity under California common law. Defendants used Harvey's identity and likeness for commercial advantage without her consent, resulting in injury to Harvey. At all times, defendant knew that they did not have permission to use Harvey's identity or likeness for commercial purposes, but they didn't. I don't know. I don't know enough of the case law and the statutes regarding this of if this will link to her. There is a direct connection between the use of Harvey's identity and likeness and defendant's commercial purpose. Normally, when we're talking about using likeness, is like when let's say you're out on the street, or I'm out on the street and you guys see me and you guys decide that you're going to take a picture of me and then you post it on your social media, and you start selling it to people saying, hey, I saw boss attorney Bri at the mall. She actually has legs, because, I'm always on live streaming. You guys don't see me standing up. And you guys sell me as, the best trouser wearing woman. I would have had the right to present myself as the best trouser wearing woman. You can't just go posting my picture places that I don't want it to be posted, right? So her likeness of it not actually being a picture of her, unless her whole personality is being a stalker, which she's trying to prove that she's not, I don't know. But I mean, the Martha who plays Martha looks like Martha. So are we saying that no one can look similar to Fiona? I don't know. I don't think the likeness argument is doing it for me. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it. And like I said, there may be case law on it that I'm not aware of. My realm is family law. I could tell y'all this, that, and everything about the Laura Owens case, but this one is a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but interesting nonetheless. Harvey has suffered mental anguish caused by the unauthorized use of her identity and likeness without her permission in Baby Reindeer. I think this is contradicting, though, because you're saying you're not this person. Maybe her life story of being a Scottish lawyer and living in London, maybe, but how many Scottish women live in London that might be a lawyer, that might be a little chunky, that might be socially awkward? I don't think you can claim that. I don't think you can claim a personality as likeness. Okay? Harvey is entitled to recover. The defendants are each liable for any damages suffered by Harvey, including without limitation profits from unauthorized use of Harvey's identity and likeness and Baby Reindeer. I don't think that one goes well for her. Violation of the right to publicity under California. Again, I don't think this one connects. Maybe the story, she had the right to tell her story, but he also has the right to tell his story. So I don't know. I didn't really read that paragraph, and Kimmy also didn't highlight it because I don't think she thought it was important either. So we're going to skip it anyway. Okay, and then they want exemplary damages. The acts complained of herein in the preceding paragraphs above were willfully, unlawfully, maliciously, and in wanton disregards of the rights and feelings of Harvey, and by reason thereof, she now demands punitive and compensatory damages. I don't think that she succeeds on that. She also wants them to preserve any evidence that they may have. Wherefore, plaintiff Fiona Harvey requests that defendant Netflix and Netflix Worldwide LLC and Richard Gadd, who is not listed as a defendant, which Kimmy pointed out to me, but they put it in the prayer of relief. So I don't know if they originally listed Richard Gadd and decided to remove him, or they forgot to put him up top on the pleading, but they do list him as a defendant at the bottom, but not at the top. So he's not a party in the case. Be cited to appear and answer. Yeah. Well, maybe they're not calling him a defendant, but maybe they're calling him as a witness. They're going to want a subpoena. Be cited to appear and answer, and that at the final trial of this matter, Harvey be judgment against defendants following judgment against defendants for actual damages and the sum to exceed $50 million. Girl, you out of your mind. You are not getting $50 million. Judgment against defendants for compensatory damages and the maximum amount allowed by law in the amount of exceeding $50 million. She wants all profits from Baby Reindeer in the maximum amount allowed by law in an amount to exceed $50 million. But no, I don't think so, ma'am. I don't think so. He has a right to tell his story too. And if you are a part of his story, you get to tell your story too. And you saying it's not true, so why do you want the money? Punitive damage is the maximum amount allowed by law, believed to exceed $20 million. Prejudgment interest at the legally prescribed rate, and attorney's fees and anything that they deem just and proper. So she wants $50 million plus $20 million plus another $50 million. She wants a lot of money for this. Allegedly being Martha. There might be another Scottish lawyer out there who's really Martha. And maybe she did say, come make my bed. Maybe everyone just wanted him to do a housework. You said that he prostituted himself out before. Maybe his prostitution ring was about doing housework. I don't know. Y'all don't judge how I'm drinking the water. It's like at the bottom of the barrel, man. The bottom of the goddamn bottle. Okay, let's see where we are with our likes. Our like goal was 50 likes, and we are at 53 likes. So shout out to the BriHive. We have hit our like goal. So you know what that means? That means we are going to play our like animation. Forgot what it was called for a minute. We're gonna play our like animation, and for those of you that are new here, our like animation is kind of loud at the beginning. So if you are sensitive to noise, this is your warning to turn your volume down, and I'm going to play it in 3, 2, and 1. Yes, we reached our like goal. Thank you again, BriHive, for hitting our like goal today. I was like a little iffy if we were going to make it. I feel like I've been missing in action. I definitely appreciate all the support while I go through my egregious trial month. The couple next months are pretty bad with court hearings, proceedings, mandatory settlement conference, trials, all the likes. But I definitely appreciate y'all all for still tuning in and listening to the nonsense that I have to say off the clock. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the comments. Wait, let me give my little opinion here first. I think I already kind of did give my opinion. Excuse me. I think the only thing that sounds like remotely possible to win, and this is my just opinions off the top of my head without knowing all of the laws associated with it and loopholes and, you know, secret things you would know if you practice this kind of law. I think a lot of the claims are a bit of a stretch. I think she succeeds on negligence, maybe, but also I don't know what their duty to her would be. So I would be interested to see. I know I have Netflix's response, but I don't have time to go over it on this live stream because I am going out of town this weekend. I need to get my hair done, do my hair and wash clothes and stuff. So I don't have time to go over it today, but I am going to take a peek at it and see what's going on there. And then we'll see what our opinions are once we review Netflix's response. Maybe it'll have some laws in there, some what do you call it? Some laws in there, some secret little rules that we may not know of off the top of our heads for us to kind of draw a better conclusion about it. But for me right now, I'm thinking maybe negligence. I don't see the intent. I don't see the defamation. So we'll see. Let's have Bossy B bring us into the chat. If y'all got comments, questions, concerns about this case, go ahead and drop it in the chat. We're getting to it now. All right. Shout out to Kimmy for starring the chats that we need to talk about. Thank you. I definitely appreciate it because streaming is hard, y'all. Streaming is hard. Reading, looking a crazy mess on the camera when you're messing up easy words, saying the wrong thing, forgetting what words you want to use, messing up already. It's hard. So thank you, Kimmy. I definitely appreciate the help. We got Denny saying, I'm not familiar with the baby reindeer case, but I attempted to watch the show. It was difficult to watch. Why was it difficult to watch? Was it just too extreme of, you know, not content, but the storyline? Like, I haven't watched it, so I don't know if it's like hard to watch because it makes you feel uncomfortable or what. So let me know. Destined to Be says, I've only heard of baby reindeer, but I know absolutely zero about it. Yeah, I saw it pop up on Netflix, and then I heard the lawsuit come out. And then I had a TikTok come across my screen. I'm like, okay, gotta cover it. Gotta cover it now because this TikTok basically gave me the rundown. And now I'm ready to cover the case. Stargazer Kawaii says, I haven't heard about the case. Denny says, I watched most of it. I hope it got a little bit more bearable throughout. Zoe B says, I haven't watched it. Don't have the streaming service it's on. I've only heard about from people covering it on YouTube. Nice. Kimmy Locker says, I saw it. I think it was well done and nuanced, but definitely hard to watch at times. So I'm thinking what you guys saying it's hard to watch as it was like uncomfortable because of like, I mean, stalking is a serious crime, right? So correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking y'all saying it's like uncomfortable to watch versus like it's cringy or it sucks, right? Wink says at the end it says based on a true story. So I'm wondering why in the beginning they put it's a true story. I think that was a dumb move for them. I feel like someone messed up and they're going to get in trouble. Big trouble. Netflix might be suing them. Kimmy Locker says, I don't understand why they didn't say it's based on a true story. Unforced error, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm like, you are setting yourself up for failure for not putting based. I feel like that's like even if it is true in your brain, there's three sides to every story, right? Your side, their side, and the truth. So even if you think you're telling the truth, you should probably still just put based, right? Wink says they did. They said both. Yeah. And so are you guys saying that they kind of nitpicked and was like, oh, this one just says true story. Somebody messed up. Let's use this one. That might be a good, not necessarily good defense for them, but it could help their case. Wink says at the end of the show, it says based on a true story. They needed to sprinkle it in. I'm going to need them to sprinkle it in a little bit more than just at the end. Teresa S says it was shady what Netflix did. It sounds like it, right? Don't say it's a true story. Especially if especially with saying she was a convicted stalker. And if she really was not a convicted stalker, come on. And my question is was she arrested for something, but not maybe stalking, but something close to it? Is the charge called something else? I don't know. Zoe B says, attract more viewers, increase attention, and make more money. I believe that's called marketing. Exactly. It's a freaking streaming service, right? Streaming service. So yes, they do want to make money. Ruth says she is mentally challenged. Do you think so? I think it's a stretch. I think a lot of the arguments is a stretch. I don't know. I'm gonna mess this up. Spetty Ross says, question, didn't Gat do a one-man show with all of this before Netflix? That's what I have read, that he had a comedy show that included information regarding this stalking, and she never brought forward before. Kimmy Locker says, yep, he sure did. It was stand-up comedy. Denny says, I felt like her suing and doing interviews aligned with her character on the show. I don't think that really helps her in her lawsuit, right? It's my thing is you're kind of drawing more attention to you by doing interviews and filing a lawsuit. This could have all been swept under the rug. You could have just deleted your Twitter account. You could have just moved on with your life, right? Spetty Ross says, I agree with Denny. Stargazer Quiet says, I can honestly say I've never messaged anyone like that. You don't want them to hang your curtains? Zello Spo says, did no one learn from Orson Welles and Hearst? There's a reason now that they have disclaimers and do based on a true story. Yes, you have to based on it. We changed some of the facts because maybe I didn't get permission to tell the whole story, right? Teresa S says, to me, every documentary is based on a true story. Of course, there are going to be conflicting versions among the characters. Yes, absolutely. That's why I'm like, it has to be based on a true story because everyone's perception of what happened is going to be different. Now, things that you can actually verify as far as whether she was actually arrested or not, come on, you got to get those things right. And if you're not going to get them right, you need to say based on a true story, okay? That's a problem. Sakatoa says, didn't Spidey do a behavioral analysis on his channel regarding this case? I don't know. Teresa S says, not an anatomy being anonymous, okay? I don't know why I can't say that. It's virtually impossible these days. Not many details needed for Redditor to type sleuths to figure stuff out. Yeah, that is also true too. Teresa S says, yes, they could have done more. Cover your A, and they know better and have plenty of lawyers. Netflix is scummy. They were wrong. I don't think they tried that hard to cover it up, to tell you the truth. Sokatoa says, would she be able to say it's defamation if Netflix said it was fiction after the series instead before? If it's after than before? I mean, they're going to argue it. They're going to say, no, we said it was fiction or based on a real story, but you started off with it's a true story. I think she has, I think that gives her a little bit of standing with them starting off the series. You're making everybody believe that it's a true story. And then at the end, you're going, no, I'm just kidding. It wasn't a true story. I don't think that really helps Netflix. Teresa S says, based on the true story, the big old disclaimer in the beginning is cover your A. They failed to do. It's pretty standard. I agree. And that's why I think they can, I think that she can succeed on the negligence. I just don't know what their duty to her would have been. Teresa S says, even stories about fake stories have them. Yep. I know. I'm like telling stories on my TikTok account, and I need to start adding that on based on the true story, because I do change a lot of the details so that you can't tell who I'm talking about. So yeah, I need to start doing that. Look, I'm talking about them, and I'm almost in the same boat. Stargazer Kawaii says, "Can we talk your photo and post? Can we take your photo and post it when you're the most famous top attorney YouTuber? Yeah, promote me as that, and then you are using my likeness." Teresa S says, rewording that mess. I mean, drama movies about a made up story will have disclaimers because people will claim it's about them. And that's what I'm saying. How do we know she is even the real Martha? What if there's another Scottish lawyer lady that dresses like that and looks like that? I don't know. Teresa S says the casting was spot on, right? Played her to the T, okay? Did she study her for a couple of weeks? Did she do a little bit of stalking to get her like mannerisms down? Teresa S says, thank you for covering all this mess. No problem. Thank y'all for participating in the chat. Denny says a lot of SA, it was graphic. Okay, that's what you guys are saying about it being hard to watch, which then makes me scared to watch it. Kimmy Lockett says the depiction of SA and such is difficult. There's pretty horrific scenes. Yeah, I can only imagine. And that is uncomfortable to watch and hear. Like, even if you like close your eyes, I don't know. And so I could see why she's saying it was bad, because she's like, I didn't do those things, right? Did y'all watch the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary? Was it uncomfortable like that? Let me know. I have not watched this series yet. I probably will at some point. I don't know when though. Teresa says it's why we like lives, no cuts or edits, just real Brie, no fiber. No fiber like the editing. I was like, I need to get more edited videos out. I think it's easier to do live, but sometimes it does get a little bit embarrassing, like trip over your words. Okay. Teresa S says, always cover your A. I agree. Thank you so much for the super chat. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you. Definitely appreciate it. You have to, even if you think it's the truth of the truthiest, you have to put based on a true story, okay? You don't want anybody saying, no, you lied about me, you're defaming me, hence what we have right here, right? And I haven't even looked into the Nickelodeon one with Dan Schneider in a while. What's happening with that case? I should probably look and get an update on there. I feel like there's a couple of cases I can get an update on. I just need to sit down and look at cases that I've actually covered. Stargazer Kawaii says and again, thank you for the super chat again. Stargazer Kawaii says, with this story being based off of a real lawyer, I'm surprised they opened the door to be sued, even if the opening is just a crack. Yeah, I agree. Like, you have to, and Netflix, you're $1 billion company. Like, why did you do that? Zella says, but to be fair, every movie based on a true story always starts with, this is a true story of blank. Does it? I don't know if I've noticed that. Kimmy Lockett says, most of the ones I've seen say based on. I think they say based on too, but also I don't know every movie. Zella says, at the end, but during the movie itself, characters will often say, this is the true story or this is my story. Yeah. Maybe you should put this is maybe, what's his name? Richard Gadd's true story of these events. But then we start tying in characters. I don't know. I think just adding the word based in, it helps. Saying this is my story is way different because it's coming from your perspective, right? But this is the true story of, it's hard. Or true story. I think just adding that based in there, it helps a lot. Teresa says, didn't they wait until the end of the whole series instead of each episode too? It was late to join. Yeah, like what if you didn't even watch the whole thing? Everyone is saying it was hard to watch. So a lot of people probably missed that. I probably would have missed that because half the time I watch Netflix while my eyes is closed. Because I'm just listening. Frank Sukatoa says, Baby Reindeer was harder for me to watch than Dahmer. Wow. That's intense. That is intense. Sokatoa says, simply because what was shown. Of course, Dahmer was the spawn of evil. Yeah, but I felt like his scenes were hard too. Like when he was kidnapping people and like having their body parts in the fridge, I felt like that was hard. Dahmer was maddening to watch, but I wouldn't call it difficult the same way. Okay. So it's a little bit more extreme in a uncomfortable way, in a way we don't want to see, right? This is how I welcome in saying Swoop did a doc on Dan Schneider thing. A night. I don't think I've seen. Have I seen hers? I can't remember because that was kind of a while ago when I was watching the Dan Schneider stuff. Teresa SS, stay away from Mr. Beef. YouTube will be mad. I was gonna cover that stuff that's coming out, but I have not had time to even really sit down and listen and hear it. So it must be pretty extreme. We covered his burgers, which is not bad, right? There's nothing bad about the burger. I mean, they're nasty burgers, apparently, and undercooked burgers, but we were fine covering him on that side. So I don't know, but I know I've seen Alita post a video. I believe Kirk has posted one. I believe a couple of LawTubers have posted stuff about the Mr. Beast stuff. I just haven't had time to sit down and watch what's actually being said. Yeah. So Teresa S says, because of the incompetence in Dahmer, be careful. I don't know what that necessarily means, but yeah. I don't know, guys. The case, it's tough. I do want to watch it, but now that y'all are saying it's hard to watch, I'm like afraid to watch it. I don't know. I hope she gets her justice if there's justice to be had. I don't know if the claims, if her position is really supported by the law. I don't know. I would say that. I don't think they are. Like I said, her best case scenario for position for me would probably be the negligence. But again, like I said, I don't know what their duty to her would be in telling a story. They didn't have a contract with her. You know, they had a contract with Richard. They didn't have a contract with her. So are they negligent in depicting her and not following up with her about what actually happened when the contract was not with her? They're telling Richard's story. So let me know what y'all think about that. I really don't know. Okay. Content creators are learning lessons. He's YouTube's golden boy. Yeah, he is. He really is. Kimmy Locker says, I wouldn't be afraid, just aware. Well, I'm happy that you guys told me about it because I did not think it was going to be that. I don't know if sinister is the right word, but I didn't think it was going to be uncomfy to watch, you know? What I was going to say says, I'm behind, but OMG, not reading that complaint without watching the show. You need that context. I know I need to watch it. I just haven't had time. Teresa S says, Mr. Beast, be careful. Your channel could be in danger for covering it. Like danger as in take your channel down or just like suppress your video. I don't know. I don't even know what's going on in it all the way to tell you the truth. So I can't even tell you guys if I'm going to cover it or not. I really can't. Okay, y'all. I got a couple more chats and then I am going to go ahead and log off so that I can try to get my hair together and get some clothes washed and get my little butt to bed. Yeah. Stargazer Kawaii says UK defamation law is supposedly easier to prove, right? Oh, I don't know. I didn't even think about the context of UK because they're in. Oh my gosh, what did I just do? Could y'all see me? Could y'all see me right there? Because I'm sorry, y'all. I was watching back because I was like, I pressed the button somewhere backstage and made myself disappear. So I didn't know if y'all could see me or not. Oh, that's why y'all like live streams, huh? For people to embarrass themselves. I know it. I didn't think about it being context of UK because this is filed in the United States, in California. Beth in Hermes says, Bree, you can watch some episodes. There is a disclaimer in the episodes that gets bad. Okay. I'm not one to really shy away from when things are uncomfortable. I get like, why would you do that? And so then I start to watch intensely. So I think I'll be okay, but I definitely can understand the hard to watch. It'll probably make me mad. Maybe it might make me mad. Teresa S says Amazon took over production of the Vegas reality show for a reason. He's taking down old videos for a reason. Oh, I know. Zealous and Re Mr. Beast, those might be being suppressed to the SA allegations and talking about that. That tends to get things suppressed automatically. That does make sense. I did see some stuff about that. Stargazer Kawaii says YouTube protects Mr. Beast. He's like, isn't he like the most subscribed to person on YouTube? Zello Spoo says, we can see you. You only disappeared for a second after you freaked out. Okay. I didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know what I was doing over here. Okay, y'all, that's all I have for today. Honestly, like I said, I have to get my little life together for this weekend. So I will be looking into Netflix's response and other documents that Kimmy has found for us that were interesting to kind of get a little bit more scoop on this. I don't think I'll be able to watch Baby Reindeer over the weekend, but maybe I will be able to start watching it. Oh, maybe I can watch it on the plane. I could probably watch it on the plane. So yeah, maybe I will watch that. No, I probably shouldn't watch it on the plane if y'all are saying it's as disturbing as you're saying it is. So shoot, I don't know when I'm gonna watch it. But anyways, thank y'all all for joining the live stream. Thank y'all all for hitting the like goal. We're now at 58 likes. Our like goal for the stream was 50, so we have surpassed that. Thank you very much. And I will see y'all all on the next live stream. Let me know if there are any cases that you would like to cover that we haven't covered yet, or that you just want to talk about, even if we have covered it before. I know there's a bunch of cases I need to catch up on. I know I said I was going to be putting out more content, but like I said, I've been having crazy trial weeks lately, and I'm trying to get back on the bowl. But at least we are doing our Thursday live streams, which I haven't been thinking I would be able to do, but we've been here. And again, thank you everyone for supporting me, although I'm not as active as I would like to be on the YouTube channel. I definitely appreciate all the support. I hope everyone has a good weekend. Go ahead and, I don't know, just live life, guys. Relax, have a good weekend, and I will see y'all all on the next